You're looking for a grade laser that won't give you a headache 3 weeks later, something that just works day in day out and doesn't feel like an expensive toy you're constantly tweaking. The biggest fear most of us have is buying a laser that looks great on the spec sheet, only to discover it flickers when it rains or the range just isn't enough for a typical job site. That hesitation is real, especially when the price tag is high enough to make you double-check the warranty and the return policy. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's talk about the Topcon SV1S PS.RBP.X single slope grade laser kit with the LS-80X receiver. At first glance it reads like a professional grade tool, 2,625 foot range, 1/16 inch accuracy, rotation speeds that can be dialed from 300 to 600 revolutions per minute, and an IP66 rating that promises dust and water resistance. Those numbers are impressive, but they only become meaningful when you see how they translate to a real-world job. If you're a contractor who spends most of the day setting grades for drainage, roadways, or foundation footings, the range is the first thing you'll notice. The 2,625-foot laser reach means you can set up the unit at the edge of a site and still get reliable reference points across the whole work area, even on larger residential projects. I've walked a half-mile construction site with a similar Topcon unit in my hand, and the beam stayed true without needing a booster or a second device. That eliminates the time-consuming process of moving the laser multiple times just to cover the span, which directly adds to labor efficiency. Accuracy is another critical factor. The 1/16 inch tolerance is tight enough for most grading work without forcing you to constantly double-check with a level. In practice, that means if you're laying a concrete slab and you need a 2% slope, you can trust the laser to hold that slope within a 1/4 inch over a 30-foot run. I've seen crews use a simple grade rod, read the laser, and get the right height without pulling out a separate level for verification. That's a genuine productivity boost, especially when you're on a tight schedule. The LS-80X receiver that comes with the kit is designed to lock onto the laser beam and give you a clear visual cue even under bright sunlight. In my field tests, the receiver's display stayed legible on a sunny afternoon, and the built-in pulse mode made it easy to locate the beam when it was low on the horizon. For horizontal, sloping, and vertical applications, the receiver can be mounted on a pole, a tripod, or even a handheld mast, which means you can adapt it quickly to different job phases. The flexibility to use the same laser for a driveway grading, a roof slope check, or a wall height reference is where the real value shows up. You're not buying 3 separate tools. Now, let's address the hidden trade-offs. The rotation speed range of 300,600 revolutions per minute might sound like a nice adjustment, but in the field you'll discover you rarely need to change it. Most of the time, 300 revolutions per minute gives a smooth, steady beam that's easy on the eyes, while 600 revolutions per minute can be useful if you're trying to spot the line from a distance on a very bright day. The downside is that the higher speed does consume a bit more battery, so you'll need to keep an extra set of batteries on hand for a full day's work. It's not a deal breaker, but it's something to factor into your planning. The IP66 rating is a big selling point. Dust, rain, and even a quick splash from a hose won't knock the unit offline. In a recent rainy morning, the laser kept running while I was setting a trench grade, and the receiver still picked up the signal without any hiccups. However, the rating doesn't make the device impervious to all environmental stress. If you expose the laser to direct, high-pressure water jets or submerge it, the seals can wear over time. So, while you can trust it in typical wet conditions, you still need to protect it from extreme abuse. Who should buy this kit? If you're a professional contractor, a landscape architect, or a serious DIYer who regularly tackles grading, drainage, or any job that requires precise slope reference, this Topcon system will likely pay for itself in saved labor hours. The combination of long range, tight accuracy, and a rugged receiver means you can rely on one unit across multiple projects without needing to rent or buy additional lasers. It's also a good fit for rental houses that want to offer a dependable grading tool to tenants who are doing serious renovations. Who should skip it? If your work is limited to small interior remodels, like setting a kitchen countertop or hanging a few shelves, you probably don't need a 2,600-foot range or a receiver that can endure a construction site. A basic line laser or even a laser-level app on a tablet would cover those needs at a fraction of the cost. Also, if you're on a very tight